Today's adventure takes me here to Rubio Woods, but I'm not interested in Rubio Woods. I'm interested in what's across the street from Rubio Woods here in Midlothian, Illinois. And what's across the street is an entrance. As we pan the camera over, there's a street sign over there, and behind that street sign is the entrance to one of the most haunted cemeteries in America, Bachelor's Grove Cemetery. And what better place to do a Halloween special than Bachelor's Grove Cemetery? There are stories upon stories of haunting and apparitions and phantom cars, phantom dogs, woman in white, you name it. Bachelor's Grove has every story in the book. So come join me as we explore Bachelor's Grove Cemetery. Welcome back, everybody. This is the Halloween special. Today we are in Midlothian, Illinois. We are at Bachelor's Grove Cemetery, or I should say Rubio Woods, which is across the street from Bachelor's Grove Cemetery. And as we look eastbound, this is Midlothian Turnpike. And the turnpike at one time would turn southwest right past the cemetery. Now it does not. It actually turns into 143rd Street. As I cross this road, 4-lane highway. This used to be a 2-lane road long ago when it did go past Bachelor's Grove Cemetery. All right, we come up onto the entrance. Like I said, many years ago, the road used to curve, and it used to go down this way, head southwest to Ridgeland. Does not any longer. They closed it off back, I believe, in the early 1960s. You were able to go down this road, but only up until Bachelor's Grove for several years, I think until the mid-70s, and then they closed this road off completely because people were driving down here, parking out in front of Bachelor's Grove, and vandalizing, desecrating the tombstones. There were satanic warships that were going on. There's a lot of nefarious things that were happening, so then they closed this road altogether. But back in the day, the 1820s, when settlers came to this area, this was the main road in the Bachelor's Grove area. Now there are some trails that go off here into the woods. There are some house foundations back here. The Schmidt family used to live back here. The foundation for their home is still back here. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it today. I'll try. It rained quite a bit yesterday. We got over an inch of rain, so it might be a little too wet. But I'll see if I can find the trail and show you where that house used to be. Beautiful Halloween weekend here in Chicago. Actually a little cold, I should say. It's in the 30s. Be nice if it was a little warmer. It's supposed to rain this weekend. Hopefully it doesn't. This is about a quarter mile from the main road to the cemetery. As you can see, it's well wooded now, which gives it an eerie, creepy feeling for sure. Tried to recruit one of my friends to come with me today, however, he chickened out, so I am solo today. I don't mind being solo. It's not really the paranormal that worries me. It's some of the people you get back here that are a little loco, if you will. That's what worries me. But pulling into Rubio Woods, there's only one other car that I saw. So, not too many people out here yet. It is rather early. I'm going to go in here where these two concrete pillars are. And I believe the house foundation is back in here. We'll go and check it out. I've been back here once before, but in the winter time, and there was snow on the ground, so I really didn't get a good look at the house foundation. I believe this is the Schmidt family house, if I can find it. Now, there are some interesting stories about a house that appears and disappears right next to the cemetery, and honestly, I didn't believe those stories at all. That is, until I produced my Bachelor's Grove video several years ago. I did a video, and my mother watches my videos. Hi, Mom. And she had watched my Bachelor's Grove video. And shortly after that, when I went to visit her, she asked me, I think the house foundation's over here. She asked me, is the house still there? And I kind of looked at her and said, well, what house? The house in the cemetery. And I said, you know, kind of playing dumb, what do you mean the house in the cemetery? And she went on to tell me the story of when her and her friend came out here in the mid-1960s. This is when you can drive up into Bachelor's Grove Gate. They came out here for the first time to check it out. And she said they got scared off because of the house they saw in the cemetery. Said it was a 2-story, rather narrow, white farm type looking house. And they were afraid that somebody was going to come out of the house and yell at them and chase them away. So they didn't stay very long and they left. Well, as you can imagine, I was a little surprised by that story because there was never a house in the cemetery. At least not according to the plat maps I've seen of the area. So I was a little surprised and shocked by that story, and I know my mom didn't make it up. So I got a first-hand account of somebody that actually saw the ghost house in Bachelor's Grove, which absolutely amazing. So now I do believe there was, in fact, a house that does appear near the cemetery. And I'm not having much luck finding this foundation. I found it rather easily in the winter. But maybe this foundation disappears too. Oh well. I do not see it. I thought that trail where those 2 pillars were took me right to the foundation of the house. But I don't see the house foundation or the house. I'm happy I don't see the house. That'd be a little surprising there. Oh well. I'm gonna head back to the main trail and I'll meet you there. Well, that's too bad that I'm not able to find the house. We got some people coming up the trail right now, and I'm popping out here near the cemetery. A lot of stories with the cemetery. You got phantom cars, phantom dogs, monks, lady in white, all kinds of things that supposedly happen in the cemetery. Orbs, just all kinds of things. Now, this is just a settler cemetery, about an acre. 1830s was the first burial. Find a grave lists about 227 graves here. I don't believe there's that many. Less than that. A lot of these markers, a lot of these tombstones have been desecrated over the years. Many of them are in the adjacent lagoon swamp area. And some of these are not that old. I think the latest burial was 1989. Wheeler's the name there, Chauncey and Ella. But people are in here constantly. This used to be overgrown. There was a group that was put together about 15 years ago that came in here and started to clean things up a little bit. We got James McKee here, 1911. Delaney McKee, 1920. Most of these are not in the original locations. Most of them have been moved. Richard Moss, 1934. I do have a map here of where the locations are for the different tombstones as of 1998. I have a map here from John Catchell is the name. Now, it's kind of hard to read the map, to be honest with you. Rip It, this is a rather famous tombstone in this cemetery, the Rip It tombstone. Then we have William Hamilton here. Looks like 1903. And here's the base to the Rip It tombstone. So this somehow got over there, which is about 20 feet away. So go figure. It's a very peaceful cemetery. I don't, last time I was here, I've been here several times. Now, one time I was here, I brought some ghost hunting equipment with me. And oddly enough, the batteries were dead, even though the batteries were fully charged before I got here. And I had some instances where I've heard voices on the other side of the fences, people talking. And one instance is I heard voices coming up the walkway, the pathway that we just came up. And I went out there to see how far down the pathway the people were, and nobody was there. Bernard Deck, 1949. And nobody was there, which was interesting. And I also had an instance where I was walking down the path past the cemetery, and the gimbal for my camera would not go straight. It would go to the right. And I've never had that happen before. And yeah, that was an interesting visit. It was a very interesting visit. You can see the vandalism here, shields. This is the most recent stone. We have Robert Shields, 1989. Elizabeth, 1950, 1969, and then Charles, 1955. So it's the most recent one. Fortunately knocked down. I don't know why somebody would want to be buried in here, I guess, with their family. But your tombstone, that's going to be vandalized. Here's a family plot. I don't know. Trying to read this map I have here, and I doesn't say what that is. But you'll see a lot of bases here. Again, tombstones are missing. Tombstones have been stolen. This is a famous Fulton stone. One of the few stones in the cemetery that is upright. We have Father here, 1922. And then also famous infant stone, infant daughter. And people like to leave trinkets here. Somebody actually left a Ouija board here, which I don't know the significance of that, but every time I come here there's more and more trinkets on the infant daughter stone, and somebody's carved pumpkins and put pumpkins out. So very famous area, very famous tombstone. You can see many more bases scattered around. Unfortunately, and these were large tombstones. It's not like they were small tombstones, but yet they're missing. And you got pieces of tombstones right there. We've got John Hamilton here, 1925. For him. We got the Warren family. We got Mark Ichabod, 1904, and Emma Curtis, 1901. Let's take a walk over here. Looks like we have a tree down since the last time I've been here. It's been a couple of years. But we have a lagoon over here. This was actually where they took some limestone. It was a quarry at one time. They took limestone out of here to build houses and stuff. And you can see the water's pretty high since we've had a lot of rain. There are a lot of stories here about back in the 20s, mobsters threw bodies into the lagoon off that bridge. Well, that road wasn't here in the 1920s because we still had Midlothian Turnpike that went past Bachelor's Grove, and this was 143rd Street, was not here, so that the only way mobsters would be able to dump anyone in this lagoon is if they stopped at the entrance of Bachelor's Grove, dragged bodies through the cemetery, and decided to put them into the lagoon, which to me seems like a heck of a lot of work. So I'm going to go down this way. There are a lot of trails around here. You'll get a lot of people that take photos in the woods here and claim they see things. You know, they'd be like, hey, there's a person standing right there. But in reality, that's a phenomenon called pareidolia, where your mind is trying to make sense of shapes in that it can't make sense of. So it tries to turn inanimate objects like trees and leaves and things into something that your mind can comprehend and recognize, like faces and bodies and stuff. So, you know, I see a lot of the photos, and when I do paranormal investigations, I immediately dismiss photos that are taken in woods and photos that are taken in reflection through glass, I should say, because your mind does play a lot of tricks on you. People will claim to see something, and the person right next to them doesn't see it, and you know, everyone's mind works differently. So, yeah, that's just the way that is. Beautiful morning though. Now there's a creek there, which I think you probably just saw. I'm going to walk up here and go to the creek. Now, back many years ago, there used to be a bridge over the creek, so cars could cross over the creek. That bridge is long gone. One of the things that I've always wanted to do that I've not successfully done, here's a concrete structure here in the ground. Not sure what this is for, but one of the things I've always wanted to do that I haven't done is take the old road from Midlothian Turnpike all the way to Ridgeland just to check it out. However, it is so overgrown, I have not successfully been able to do that. Maybe one day I will. It has to be in the winter because it's just too overgrown in the summer. So it has to be in the winter. All right, let me go down this path now just to give you some reference. Bachelor's Grove's right here. I went behind it by the lagoon, walked up this trail here to the west of the cemetery, and if I head this way, I'll be heading out of the cemetery back to my car. However, heading this way is southwest. This is the original Midlothian Turnpike, and this is the road that was closed off in the 1960s to traffic. I believe one of the reasons why the road was closed off was due to the, I think there was an old bridge here that was no longer able to support the weight of the modern day cars, and it was just old. And you can see the end of the concrete or the asphalt, and across there is where it went. I'm not going to cross the creek today because there's water in it. There are plenty of times when the creek is dry and crossable. Today is not one of those times. I don't want to get my feet wet when it's in the 30s. So that's very uncomfortable. But you can see there the embankment supports, the stone supports where the bridge used to be. And yeah, this does dry out, so I have been here where I was able to walk right past here with no issues. But I was able to follow where the creek flows right under 143rd Street. But that's not happening today at all. Let's go down this path a little bit. I have never been down this path. So if you see any faces or anything in the trees, let me know. It's a pareidolia that's making your brain see that. A lot of interesting stories in these woods. There was at least one death in these woods. Back in the 60s, a woman's body was found. I believe it was naked. She was murdered and dumped in these woods. Down the street, there used to be Bachelor's Grove Dance Hall that people back in the 50s and 60s would go to and dance and party. And I believe, of course, then they probably came over to Bachelor's Grove drunk, and that's where a lot of the vandalism and stuff stems from. So, not sure when that dance hall closed, but it's been closed for some time. So there's no house foundations around here that I'm aware of. On the other side of the creek, there are. I have seen several house foundations. I have seen there's a foundation from an old silo. Wells from water. I've seen old wells and that, but that's on the other side of the creek, which I'm not going to today. All right, not a whole lot to see here. So let's turn around, and I wanted to show you the tombstone where the famous photo of the Madonna of Bachelor's Grove, the woman in white, is sitting upon. That was taken, I believe, back in like 1991. That is supposed to be authentic. Don't know if it is or not, but supposedly experts have examined the photo and determined its authenticity. I didn't show it to you earlier because a group of people came in there right behind me, and they were gathered around that tombstone because that's the famous, probably the most famous stone in the cemetery. And we'll see if they've moved from that location. Didn't know if I'd encounter anyone. I'm here pretty early in the morning. It's about 8:30 in the morning right now. And I did that on purpose, being the Saturday before Halloween. You know, people like to come to Bachelor's Grove, get their annual Halloween scary stories out of the way. May try to find that one house foundation again. I can't believe I couldn't find that. But yeah, a lot of stories with this cemetery. Don't know how many are made up and how many are true, but a lot of stories. Story of the yellow man, a man that is dressed in yellow, like a yellow suit, I guess, or something, that some people sometimes see. There's just a lot of stories. Stories of cars racing up this road and then just disappearing. You know, but you get those stories a lot with different cemeteries and different wars and stuff like that. It's pretty common to hear stories like that. You know, supposedly in the lagoon there was a farmer plowing with his horse, and supposedly spooked the horse somehow, and the horse dragged the farmer into the lagoon, and they both drowned. And you know, you get stories like that. So, you know, I only know if it's true if you have newspaper articles and stuff, which I have not seen. All right, here's some more tombstones here. The Hagman stone. Somebody has placed money upon. Apparently, Charles needs some money for some Uber rides in heaven. Charles Hagman, 1924 it looks like, and his wife Minna died in 1894. And you can see that was a nice stone at one time. That's the middle piece, and that's the top piece there. And here's the famous stone, probably the most famous stone in the cemetery, of the Madonna, the woman in white, who photo back in 1991 captured her sitting on that. And the photo was taken from just beyond this tree here. This tree is currently cut down, But back when this photo was taken, it was taken from this angle, and that's when the tree was obviously still there. You have a lot of unmarked graves here. In reality, there's probably about 80 to 90 people in the cemetery. Find a Grave says 227. Not that many people. I think a lot of this area is empty. We have Newman here. Daniel Newman. 1947. His wife Dora. 1948. People have taken time to carve pumpkins. Very nice. Somebody even brought a tennis ball. Maybe their dog's with them. But you could see the ground is uneven here. Maybe it's hard to see on camera. But beautiful area. You know, in my mind, it's just a pioneer cemetery that unfortunately people thought it was a good idea to vandalize. And you know, the thing that worries me the most are the satanic rituals that happen here. And I do believe in negative energy and positive energy. And you know, you're introducing a lot of negative energy, and strange things can happen. And I feel that it's definitely a possibility. Now, usually the Forest Preserve police put up trail cameras this time of year because there's so much foot traffic in the Bachelor's Grove, and I don't see them though, unless they hit them very well. They'll put up trail cameras in the trees here just to monitor people going in and out of the cemetery, but I do not see any trail cameras. And there are those two posts again. I'm going to walk down here because I walked in there last time. I'm going to walk closer to the entrance because there might have been two posts up here as well, or maybe a trail up here. I thought it was by those two concrete posts that I had seen that foundation of the Schmidt family house, but I am not seeing it today. So I'm going to walk up here a little bit. And you could see how this can be really, really creepy in some circumstances. I mean, if you're in the mind frame of being scared, and especially if you decide to come here in the evening, although that's not legal, but if you do come here at night, you can definitely see how this can scare you. I am going to see, now these woods have gotten a little dense. And wow. Okay, that scared me a little bit. Something's moving in there. I'm sure it's just a deer or another animal, but it kind of, it did spook me a little bit. I don't think we're going to find the house foundation today, unfortunately. Oh well. Should be a trail that goes off into here, but I didn't think it was this close to the entrance. Sounds like we have an ambulance. Ambulance. Yeah, I think we're, whoa. Now, I saw something in here. It was white. Wondered if it was a white-tailed deer. But I saw white run through there. I'm sure it was a deer, probably a white-tailed deer. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to find foundation to the Schmidt family house. Here's a trail here, but that's not the trail I took. That is not the trail I took last time. But let's go see. Let's go see what we got. It was in the winter when I came here and saw the foundation, so maybe it just looks different now. I don't know. Oh wait, maybe this is it. It's let me see. Got these sticker bushes that I don't want to get stuck on. Okay, I think this is it. This is it, yes. There's a piece of stone there. This is it, guys. This is the foundation of the Schmidt family home. See if I can go around this way a little bit. I didn't know it was that close to the road. Chunk of concrete there. There's a pit here, maybe their garbage pit. Hard to tell. And here's the foundation. It's pretty hard to tell. There isn't a whole lot to see. There's some rock and stone and stuff. Yeah. This, I believe, was probably their garbage pit. Yep. Not much to see, but this is the foundation to the house of the Schmidt family that was here back many, many years ago. Well, guys, what an awesome walk here in Bachelor's Grove Cemetery and the surrounding areas. Lots of stories of paranormal in this cemetery. Lots of history in this cemetery. Didn't see anything today. Didn't see any phantom cars. Didn't see any phantom dogs. No monks. No women in white. Nothing like that. But nonetheless, it was a great Halloween walk. And thank you very much for coming with me. And until next time, keep exploring.